the E60 on ESPN. Do you know what I'm talking about? The E60 is this new show that ESPN is running that has some of their, journalists, some of their writers doing some investigative reporting. And I'm still trying to get a feel for the show and what it's all about. But I've seen clips, I've seen bits and pieces, I've seen things, and I gotta say I like it. I find it entertaining. I always like to see, because that's kind of, we're a topic-based show. Scores and highlights are cool, interviews are great, but, there's topics in sports. There's constant topics revolving around sports, and you can make some really interesting programming with that kind of stuff. So I like E60. I like what it's doing. I just watched while I was getting ready to do the show. I just watched the clip of Miguel Tejada being interviewed about his age. Did anybody see this? Did you just see a clip of this? Did you see the whole thing? I thought it was great. Miguel Tejada is sitting down being interviewed, and he's in his jersey and everything, and he's sitting down like it's a normal interview. The guy interviewing him says, how old are you, by the way? He says, I'm 32. Okay. When were you born? What, He said, and you were born, he asked, and he said, in the Dominican Republic. And he said, no, what year? He said, 1976. And the guy asks, are you sure? Tejada replies, yes, why would I lie about something like that? And then this guy, I need to find his name so I can stop calling him this guy. This guy pulls out a document that happens to be Tejada's actual birth certificate that he got from the Dominican government. I'm not kidding. Their government handed over the actual. Here, I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put the link up in the chat room. I am, and I'm trying to find out the guy who I can't. Yeah. I'm gonna put this up in the chat room. You guys can watch it if you want. I think that it's fun. Dominican, they do this. And I've read about this. This is what they do. When they bring up these guys, all right, they bring up these stars, and they make a lot of money off these kids, and they send them over to the U.S., and they knock a couple years off their age. Right? They knock a couple years off because they can sell, they can sell them a little better. It's easier to sell, a 24-year-old than it is a 26-year-old. They have more years. So they knock a few years off these guys' ages and send them over. No harm done, right? And they doctor up everything. Birth certificates, they do it all. They get it down. Well, for the most part, they cover all bases. Apparently not in Tejada's case, because there was still the actual official document floating around, and ESPN was able to obtain it. And it's just, the look on his face is terrific. You can tell he's in total, as soon as the paper comes out, what's that? And the reporter's like, well, this is your birth certificate I got from the Dominican government. And he's like, oh, how did you get that? And you can tell he was bitter. He said, hey, man, I don't know. I just play basketball. I just play baseball. I'm just here to play baseball. I'm not here to talk about any of this kind of stuff. Just confessing his guilt, basically, right then and there. That's what he's doing. But click on that. Watch that clip. It only takes like a minute. It's entertaining. I like seeing people get caught in a lie. And it made me feel bad for Tejada a little bit. And I sympathize with people, almost to a fault. And I'm watching this guy, he looked like a deer in headlights. He was so scared that his secret was finally out. But, it wasn't his fault. The guys said they had the handlers over there in the Dominican. They get all these kids ready and ship them over. This is like everyday business for these guys. This is what they do. It's just another day at the office. Oh, this guy's a good player. He's 20, we'll call him 18, send him over. That's what they do. And now Tejada's over here, being grilled and answering questions. And I almost felt bad for him. That's not his fault. He didn't doctor up his own birth certificate. He's just, like he says, he just plays baseball. Well, I know he's not 100% innocent in the matter, but I'm sure it wasn't his idea. Oh, don't tell him I'm as old as I am. Tell him something else. But I felt bad for him. He's not the one that should be in that seat getting grilled. And also, he's not the only one in that position. If ESPN wanted to really, really do some research, you look into a Dominican player in the league. Because it's not just Miguel Tejada. This is common practice for Dominican players. This is very, very, very common. And so, but right now, Tejada's dominating the headlines with it because he's the only one that ESPN has aggressively tracked down.